in actual fact, a champion of the revolution, the one who is longing to see Zimbabwe being independent, and is so much disturbed by what happened yesterday in Kwekwe and what happened in Kwekwe also. It's very painful. I also want to say Nematambudziko to our honorable who is here. You know, zvinorwadza, it's painful to lose a cadre. You know, he left home saying, I'm going to the rally, and little did he knew that it was his last time. So we want to say, I want to pass my condolences to the whole of the CCC family and the family of Mboneni Ncube. It's so sad. It's so sad, really. And I just hope justice is going to prevail. I've seen some memo written by the police to say they've manhandled the people who committed the crime, but we are yet to see whether they are going to be tried. This is what we want to see. We want to see justice for Mboneni, because he did not deserve what happened to him yesterday. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Zimbabwe, from all walks of life, wherever you are. Yes, we are going to introduce our guest tonight, who is none other than Honorable Settlement Chikwinya, the recalled MP of Kwekwe. He will tell us which constituents he is standing in. Thank you so much. Over to you, Honorable Chikwinya. You can unmute yourself, Honorable.
Okay, can he unmute himself, Honorable, and speak? We also did want to say that we are also fundraising on this platform, and there is a link that we're supposed to be posting up there. So maybe co-host Washington, if I share the link with you, if you are good at it, if you can post it for us. And these are funds that are going to support with the funeral arrangements and other needs that arose from the injuries that people sustained yesterday. So if we can get Honorable Chikwinya to speak, that would be handy, if he can unmute himself. I don't know if he can hear me, because when he came on, he could speak.
Perhaps if he can hear, he might need to log out and try and log back in again. Twitter is affected by network really badly from all over, even where I am. So, Your Honorable, if you can hear me, could you try and leave the space and then try and get back in again? Yeah, I'm sure he probably may not be hearing us.
Yes, what I'm going to do now is that, as someone was trying to call me, if you can continue to speak and maybe invite one person to come on the platform to speak, I'm just going to see if I can return the call, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, hosts. While we're waiting for our speaker, perhaps we need to share. It's such a very sad moment that we are going through, ladies and gentlemen. It's a funeral that we are going through, a time to remember our brother, a time to reflect. Our party is literally 2 months old, and people are starting to attack us left, right, and center. We are a party of peace. We do not want to fight. We want democracy to prevail. And the challenges that we face is of the party that has failed dismally to bring Zimbabweans together. It is a party that is really divided us Zimbabweans with their policies. 42 years on, the country is going back to Stone Age, if I put it that way. So I think that the death of our brother should be a sign to say we can't let a life die in vain. We need to stand up and continue to fight for democracy, continue to fight for peace until we get that peace. And I think um, peace is not something that's easy to come by, as we can see. But I don't think there was any need for all this to happen. There is no need for ZANU-PF to bring its people to come and disturb an event where people are sitting peacefully listening to their leader. It is such a sad time for us as the party, but I want us to dig deep inside and find a way to say, yes, they have broken us by killing and maiming some of us, but they are not going to stop the dream. They are not going to stop the idea that we have for our country, Zimbabwe. My leader Barbara, would you like to come in?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Comrade Ali. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
I can hear
Uh,
you. Yes.
yes. It's so pathetic that ZANU PF is panicking, and they know that. In fact, they thought that President Chamisa was finished when they did all the Douglas Monzora shenanigans, the court cases, and what they thought they succeeded in destroying the people's movement. It's not all about Chamisa, but it's all about the people. That's why this CCC movement was formed. Yes, it's not Chamisa's thing, it's the people's thing. And what happened yesterday, and when I was watching this live, Comrade Ali, I think they really wanted the president himself. And what I saw in the president, he didn't even want to leave the stage. He wanted to be with the people. You could even see by how he was talking when he was saying people, "Kuti musatiza, mirai ipapo." When he was saying, don't run away. Stand where you are, stay where you are. These people, they are not our people. Can you imagine that they were dressed in yellow t-shirts, these thugs. They wanted to paint a picture as if it was the MGC, it was the CCC attacking its members, CCC thugs attacking its members. How can the people attack themselves? They tried all tricks, but it failed. Eventually, they were exposed. They were wearing our t-shirts, and they were exposed. Sadly, we lost one cadre, and we also had 17 people who were badly injured, and as we speak, they are in hospital now in Kwekwe, which is a very, very, very sad development to say. We are going towards the by-election. And what these people wanted, Leader Ali, they wanted it to be a, 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 a blood, they wanted it to be a confrontational, so that maybe they might what you call they might cancel the by-elections, to say we can't go ahead because there is violence. CCC is violent. And when they, in actual fact, they are the ones that are provoking CCC. We have seen it before. We have seen roadblocks. We have seen even the Harare launch, the by-election launch, what they did to the people. There were roadblocks all over. And yet Douglas Monzora had his rally in the same venue. Nothing happened to them. We didn't even hear any news of roadblocks, of attacks. ZANU-PF had their rally in Epworth. nothing happened. So it's all about CCC. And yet they were saying CCC is not a party. Chamisa doesn't have a plan. How do you attack someone without a plan? And I thought, if someone doesn't have a plan, which means that someone is useless, how can you attack someone whom you deem to be useless? So this shows us kuti President Shamisa ndivo vane he's got everything that it takes to take us to Canaan. He's our Joshua. He is the people's president. He is there to save us. I saw the genuinity in his face yesterday. He didn't even want to go when his security were taking him. He wanted to be with the people. And it was an emotional moment when I watched this clip. He wanted to die with the people, because, and he even said enough is enough. In his presser today, he was saying enough is enough. These people have gone too far.
Unfortunately, they want to keep trying. In fact, if I'm to go back to what you said, my sister, they were saying Chamisa doesn't have a plan. And they didn't know Chamisa had even got a bigger plan than they thought. They didn't know what hit them when Triple C was introduced. And in their eyes or in their heads, they thought, oh, wow, it's the movement is now gone because Chamisa is now got Triple C, and they were thinking their other surrogate ZANU PF plan was going to continue with the job. Little did they know that Chamisa has got a plan. And when the plan was hatched, it came as a shock. I think the rally in the Zimbabwe grounds was the first shocker to them. I think they did not sleep. Nemudumbu, they did not sleep because what they saw there was bigger than what they ever seen, even the times of Robert Mugabe. Despite the fact that they put roadblocks and stopping people from going to the event or to the venue, people walked. Those who could walk, those who couldn't, they were showing yellow wherever they were. So I think that they were saying there's no plan. Now that they've seen that there is a plan, and they are now afraid, so afraid that they are thinking the best way is to take the leader out. And that's what they're trying. But they don't realize that an idea that is already in the stomach is an idea that is going to go to fruition.
Exactly. Exactly, Leader Ali. Like President Chamisa always says, no one can stop the idea whose time has come. And the time is now. The time is now. The citizens are ready. They are ready to go. They want independence, because what's happening now, even in his presser today, President Chamisa mentioned a lot of things. He was saying, we are not going anywhere. Where we are going, where we came from, it's like we are going backwards. We are not even moving. The country is in a mess. The ship is sinking, but they don't want to admit. So the people shall redeem themselves. The people shall free themselves, not Chamisa. Chamisa will only be the leader, but the people will determine their fate. People know where they want to go, but ZANU PF keeps want to take people backwards. Can you imagine? Using machetes, using spears to attack people.
It's just threatening. It's threats. It's threat. They are used to threatening opposition. They are used to dismantling opposition. But I think what has happened is this idea has been growing and growing and growing, and now it's unstoppable. And this is why even Chiwenga was saying at the rally that they want to crush us like slice. How would you say things like that? Is a deputy president of a country, you say you want to crush somebody. What have we done to you? This is supposed to be a free and open democratic space where anybody who feels they can challenge you politically and can come with ideas that will improve the Zimbabwean people's lives, would come in and share their idea. And people will have to go and choose which idea they choose. Now, imagine with the state of Zimbabwe right now, the state of Zimbabwe right now, and we are going towards an election. You go to a Zimbabwean and say, please give me 5 more years. Please give me 1 more year to go to 2023 because of these by-elections. What have you done that deserves you that 1 year or those 5 more years?
Honorable is back.
Is
Honorable
back.
Chikwinya is back. Maybe if we might try to give him. Yeah, he's now a speaker.
Fantastic. Honorable Chikwinya, if you can hear us, please unmute and speak. Honorable Chikwinya, if you can hear us, please unmute and speak.
Good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are.
Leader Barbara, can you hear him speak?
Yes, I can hear him loud and clear.
I'm going to have to come out and go back because I can't hear anything.
Yes, go ahead, Honorable Chikwinya.
Thank you. My apologies. I just received an urgent call, but I think we can discuss. Can I just get time guidance on how much time we are going to be having, because I will need to rush somewhere.
No.
Yes.
No, it's fine. It's up to you. However much time you want to speak and to be with us, we are fine with that. We can stay on behind it when you have gone. That's fine.
It's okay. So are we going to go straight into perhaps the topic of the day and what happened? And what happened on Sunday?
Yes, Honorable. Yes, we want you to tell us what exactly you are on the ground, and you are also a candidate in Kwekwe. Maybe you can shed light. How are the campaigns in Kwekwe? How are you managing in this town that is full of thugs? If you can include all that, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Barbara and my sister Chinyoka. Let me start by saying the campaigns, it started off for quite peacefully, and our projection was that violence would start perhaps in the last 2 weeks of March as we go to the elections. We were budgeting with this on the basis that there is nothing which ZANU-PF is offering. They can only bank with voter apathy. So for them to have voter apathy, we were expecting, or we are still expecting them to increase levels of violence. Then people become afraid to come out and vote, and perhaps they may stand a chance of winning. Otherwise, they have nothing to offer. They are the ruling party, but they have nothing which they can count 1, 2, 3 in terms of developmental issues, be it at a legislative forum or be it at a social and economic forum. There is nothing. So, however, we were blessed and quite privileged to be granted a citizens coalition change rally to be addressed by none other than President Advocate Chamisa. And this is where when now the whistle for violence was blown by ZANU-PF. What happened is that we notified the police on Monday before 12 noon. And ZANU-PF at that particular time, he had not booked any rally to be addressed by Mnangagwa. But around 3 o'clock, and this I get from our friendly people who are within the police, around 3 o'clock, ZANU-PF then also phoned. They don't notify. They simply instruct the police that President Mnangagwa is going to be addressing a ZANU-PF rally on Saturday, the 26th, which was a day preceding our Mbizo 4 rally on Sunday. Apparently, we had notified the police that we were going to have a Kwekwe rally on the 26th. And in the morning, the president was going to have to attend a memorial service for the late deputy mayor of Kwekwe, who passed away around October. But we could not have any memorial service because of the COVID regulations. And this is Deputy Mayor Alderman Sheldrick Tobayo, who is the father to our Kwekwe Central candidate, Honorable Judith Tobayo. So ZANU-PF now was this whole picture that Chamisa is literally going to be in Midlands, Gokwe on Saturday, and Kwekwe on Sunday. They could not stomach the numbers which we had shown in Highfields the previous week. So their game plan was first, number one, the Gokwe rally had been by Monday, by Tuesday morning, the Gokwe rally had been approved. So their first step was to disapprove of the Gokwe rally, whereupon they then issued a prohibition order that yes, the rally was approved, but the circumstances are now that President Mnangagwa is now going to be addressing in Kwekwe, and therefore you can't have a CC rally in Gokwe, and therefore suspend the CCC rally. And that is why you had running battles between the police and the citizens in Gokwe, and the rest is history there. On Thursday, when our campaign team was putting up posters to notify our people of the rally and our general by-election campaign posters, that is when the first incidences of violence began. I saw some WhatsApp message where ZANU-PF individuals were being mentioned, and I want to thank the citizens of Kwekwe and Mbizo. The names which were written there are the names of the people that we clashed with. The names that include one Tapiwa Muganu, the names that include one Mabodoro, the names that include one Tapiwa Zao, the names that include Brian Dube. These are real people whom we clashed with when we were putting up our posters. They were driving 3 vehicles behind us, removing our posters, and our guys clashed. The most unfortunate thing, and I want the world to understand, that we managed to call the police, and the police came before any exchange of fists happened. But the police were harassed away by one Tapiwa Muganu, literally threatened. In fact, one police officer was actually shoved away from that meeting to the extent that his colleagues were saying, but you should have arrested this guy. But they are so afraid to arrest Tapiwa Muganu. They are so afraid to arrest members of the Al-Shabaab crew because they belong to the powers that be. They belong to none other than our very own Owen Ncube, also known as Muda. So this was Thursday. Friday, we did not even attempt to put up posters. ZANU-PF had now put up bases, one at Amaveni Hall, the other one at what is known as Black Wadada in section 12 Mbizo, the other one at JC Lodges, which then became their operational base on Sunday. These bases had youths who were putting up posters throughout the whole of Kwekwe, while destroying CCC campaign material and putting up ZANU-PF material. We did not retaliate because we knew that on that particular day, we were literally outnumbered. On that particular day, they were going for broke because their president was coming the following morning. And we let them do whatever they did because we knew that we had Saturday evening to also prepare. And our modus operandi this time had shifted from posters. What we did was to put a PA system in a truck, and we went around the constituents on Saturday evening and on Sunday morning, hailing, publicly addressing people using a PA system that just to remind them that President Chamisa was in town and the rally was up and going on Sunday. Now, on the day in question, and I want again to thank the citizens. Information got to us as early as around 11 o'clock when people began to arrive at the venue that ZANU-PF, because we have no centralized way or mechanism. We have no monopoly over regalia. One, because we're a new party, everyone is excited. The party is overwhelmed in terms of everyone wants a T-shirt. So there are entrepreneurs, genuine entrepreneurs who have gone about to print their T-shirts and they sell this merchandise at our rallies. So ZANU-PF took advantage of this loophole and they went on to buy our regalia, and then they gave them to their guys. But we picked this up, and this is why you would find that the deputy MC of the day, if I may call him, because of their hierarchy, which is who is champion leader Morgan Ngube, actually announced that please beware. We have picked up information that there are people who have now put on our regalia and they want to cause mayhem. But most importantly, we had picked it up that they wanted to loot shops and then get it to be blamed on CCC members. I personally, as the candidate of Mbizo, went around the shops, and I actually sent my campaign manager, who was later on injured, and my other leadership at a district level to advise business people that they should close their shops as soon as they see that the crowd is now quite big, because we have picked that this information to the extent that ZANU-PF wanted to loot shops. Again, when the president arrived, just a few minutes after the president arrived, because their plan was, as soon as Chamisa arrives, he must not be able to address. In fact, they actually failed. Yes, they succeeded in doing an incident or two, and in terms of taking away life, but they failed on their plan. Because their plan, in accordance to what we had been briefed, was that Chamisa was not supposed to even say a word. So yes, true to that, they did that. They caused the first incident of violence, but they were overpowered because they came through an area where the majority of our youths were, and this is behind the VIP stand, and our security system there was quite vigilant. They went back to JC lodges and they regrouped, and then this time came back more armed with spears, with the machetes, with the pick handles, with shovels, with the dynamites, mahora, literally, and they now spread. They were now spread over a bigger area than the first incident which they caused. And they caught people unaware because people were tentatively listening to the champion president, Advocate Chamisa. And this is when we actually suffered the majority of casualties, and I suspect even the fatality. Those who were watching on live on various social media platforms would know that the president first of all retreated to safety, but then he came back determined that we cannot be forced by ZANU-PF to abandon our own meeting. He came back, and the people also came back. And I want to thank the people of the CCC supporters, members, the citizens, that they did not go away. When the president said, let's come back, they came back. I also want to thank the members of the Red Cross who were there present, St. John's, if I'm not mistaken. They did a fantastic job in providing first aid to our people who had been injured. Some who were quite badly injured were then referred to Dr. Mazorera. Dr. Mazorera surgery. Apparently, Dr. Mazorera is our Secretary for Health, so I am comfortable in mentioning his name. We have other doctors who are also assisting. So to speak today, we currently have in hospital 5 individuals. Some with the cracked, broken ribs, 2 of them. The other one, the dislocated shoulder. The other one with a punctured eye. The other one with a dislocated hip. Unfortunately, again today, and this then became the business of the day, partly. Those who were granted first aid, some of them, because of the initial numbness, which happens when one is injured, you tend to go home thinking that I'm okay. But then when you take your sleep in the morning, you find that, no, I'm not feeling okay. So they were phoning back because we had circulated this message that those who are not feeling well, please call back. We are going to collect you. You'll be seen by our doctors, and then you are given proper medication. So we were collecting these people. We were taking them to our doctors. Some were the X-rays taken. Some were referred back home after having been treated, and we are still going to be continuing that program because we are still receiving these messages. And this is why I said I will not be able to stay long. Because one of the persons who had said, no, Honorable, thank you for bringing this medication. You can go and then come and collect me tomorrow to see Dr. Mazorea. I'm told he's now complaining that he can't sleep. So I need to go and take him to Dr. Mazorea's surgery. We have to treat him on an emergency basis, or perhaps at least refer him to a particular hospital where he can be managed throughout the night. I also want to thank the citizens for the overwhelming response to our call. That unfortunately we had a bereavement. We had one Mboneni Ncube who passed away. He was attacked by a spear from, according to the police report that I saw, he was stabbed about 3 times. We are not surprised by this attack. We are not surprised by this attack because the people who did this are known. The people who did this originally started not being political, and I want you to understand this context. Kwekwe is a gold mining area. So you have Gaika mine, you have Globenphonics mine, you have Tiger Reef mine, you have Indarama mine, you have Bell mine. Kwekwe is literally a mining area with the high deposits of gold. So what happens is that time and again, gold rushes come about. So in our local language, we call it gold raduka. Gold raduka. So you can go at a particular gold claim today and get nothing. But tomorrow, someone can go there and actually get 3, 4, 5 kgs. So these market gangs operate like in gang formation. So there's a gang called Maketo, or no, probably known around as Ziketo. This gang competes. They compete among themselves. So the Maketo gang competes against a guy called is it Gude or something like that? They compete against the other group called Barcelona. They compete against another group called Mashurugwe. Literally, they actually come from Shurug. Despite the fact that all Makorogosas are normally known as Mashurug, but there's a group called Mashurug, there's a group called Barcelona, there's a group called Ranatonde in battlefields. These guys clash. They clash in these gold rushes, and they use these weapons. They have various new medals around themselves. So unfortunately, at first they used to clash on their own. They never attacked politicians for the purposes of political reasons. You would only clash with them if you are also into gold mining, because their main aim was to take gold and share among themselves. But now they have been captured, and they have been captured by ZANU-PF politicians. So this market again, all of you would know the infamous dismissal of one Owen Ncube Muda when he was relieved of his ministerial duties after being alleged by his own party members that he had unleashed violence on his own party members at their provincial elections in Gweru. And it is public knowledge that a gang which was which was transported in a combi full of machetes was used to perpetrate this violence in Gweru. This is the same group that then perpetrated violence at our CCC rally in Kwekwe. So that they use spears, we know. That they use machetes, we know. That they use knives, we know. That they use pick handles, we know. They are a violent group with every weapon which they can form to inflict maximum injury, including death. I was talking to a particular police officer today that you need to profile of the 16 suspects arrested so far. Just take a random sample and profile each one of them. You'll find that any one of them there is no less than 3 or 4 cases which they are currently on bail for. Some for malicious damage to property, some for attempted murder, some for murder. But they always get bail. Why? Because their commander, their champion instigator, their champion driver, Muda, was abusing his powers as an intelligence minister. And therefore, he would instruct the courts to give these guys bail. So any lawyer, any public prosecutor must not have difficulties in getting these guys denied bail. First, before even get to conviction, must not have difficulties in denying bail, because the charges they are facing today, or they are going to be appearing in court for tomorrow, they have appeared for them before, not once, not twice, but more than 3 times. And they are known. When they were arrested yesterday, I called the officer in charge, Mbizo, to say, I was briefing him actually, on that we had now managed to identify the deceased, being Mboweni Ngube, because we did that before the police could even identify Mboweni Ngube. And she said, we have arrested Tasunga Ziketo, and I want to quote, which means these are people who are known. If they were not known, she could have simply said, we have 16 people where we were in custody. But because they could actually positively identify them, she knew that these are the team players of Maketo gang. Very unfortunate. So they are appearing in court tomorrow. But we don't expect much from the court system. We believe that even though Mudai is no longer the intelligence minister, we believe that the courts are still afraid. To use the word captured is something else. Captured is lighter than fear, because the police themselves are actually afraid of even arresting these Ziketo, because they come, they kill, when I was in prison in January of 2019, after the January 14 shutdown, the demonstrations, I got arrested on malicious allegations that I had destroyed property in town, a charge which then fell off. I had the privilege of staying in prison with about 21 of these youngsters. I know them. They brag that in the 3 is Mkuyu. So the Mkuyu is a person or so a victim. So like Mboneni Ngube, Chatovachi Mkuyu to someone. So someone right now is there talking in a prison, in a cell where they are, the house today. One of them is actually bragging that Ndanechi Mkuyu number 3, Ndanechi Mkuyu number 4. That's the kind of people we are talking about. Not very old in terms of age. The youngest whom I shared a cell with at that particular time was actually 18 years. I don't think among them there's anyone who is more than 35. This is why, according to the initial police memo, you would find that the majority of them were written as underemployment. It was ZANU-PF Youth League member, ZANU-PF Youth League member, ZANU-PF Youth League member. The majority of them are actually within the part of, they have been absorbed in the structures of ZANU-PF, largely absorbed in these recent elections, because the elections were violent, and the factions, as they were fighting, absorbed these violent groups, which were largely not necessarily political, if I may repeat that in the beginning. So this is exactly what happened, and this is what we are faced with. We are currently gathered in Mbizo, Section 9. This is my constituency, at a particular location called FBC, on house number 19416. This is a house for the brother of Mboneni Ncube. Mboneni was just like any young man, born 1987. He was unfortunate. He lost his first wife last year due to COVID, with whom he had an 8-year-old child going into grade 3 now. He was supposed to actually officially be given his wife on the 16th of March, just about 16 days from now. He had paid the first part. You know how it is in our Shona culture. Ukabhadhara mari, mukadzi anoperekwa. So mukadzi wake angafana kuperekwa 16 March, and the family was actually preparing for that. So he has left a young wife. He has left a young child. He has been taken in his youthful age. He was owning a one-room in Mbizo 1, where he was renting. So this is why the funeral had to be moved to Mbizo 9 at the house of his brother. Very sad. And if I may also correct what was circulating today in the media, in the social media, that there's a second death. Officially, I went to speak to the medical superintendent of Kwekwe General Hospital, who said there is no death. The matron said there is no death. But as I was preparing for this meeting, and this is unfortunate, someone from the hospital said, they're not telling the truth. There's someone who died. They're not telling the truth. So I haven't really managed to gather that. I'll need to drive back again tomorrow morning to say, please, we want to account for our people. But as of now, officially, I can say we are handling one death. We are still pursuing to see if there is a second death, since we are getting conflicting information from people who are there at the hospital. We are grateful to people who have been assisting us with the medication. We are grateful. My heart bleeds. My heart bleeds. Because of that EcoCash platform, which we said the people, of course, I did not generate that. Perhaps it's part of my team who know what we do normally if we are faced with a deceased in the constituency and we are overwhelmed in terms of how to really go about it, considering the status of the family. They referred everyone to send EcoCash to me. You see, it's not about the money that you are receiving. It's about the effort that is being done by the person. By end of day now, I was around 24,000 Zimbabwean dollars RTGS, which is basically your $110, there about $115. But it was coming in $50, 50 RTGS EcoCash transaction, 100, 300, meaning while the person does not have much money, he is feeling so touched and emotional around this death that whatever small amount which is in their EcoCash wallet, they are sending it through, that it goes to assist. And true to that notion, the numbers were rising. And so far, we have given the family about $10,000. We have also, there's a guy who had his rib broken. We have sent money, about 4,000 RTGs, so that Mzukuru can come from Kwekwe and take care of Sekuru, who is paralyzed, who used to be taken care of by this guy who now has his ribs broken. So these are some of the expenses which you cannot attach to the incident. So what we are attaching to the incident is the broken rib. And we have managed to get partners who can assist with the broken rib. But this guy with the broken rib, he had his father who is paralyzed, whom he was taking care of. I know Agezes, I know Simu, I know toilet. Now there's no one to cook for the old man. We have to take a person from as far as Kwekwe to come and cover this gap. So it all comes with such type of incidences. And I want to believe so many other issues are happening out there. Some we are getting to know of them, some we don't. I have one Gogo Magida. she was in a wheelchair. You can imagine, she drove in a wheelchair. She was literally pushed to the rally in a wheelchair, wanting to see the champion's president, wanting to see President Advocate Chamisa speak. Hell broke loose. She was attacked, and the wheelchair was broken. She can't even move.
Okay, have we lost okay, it's back. Okay, have we lost, are we losing Honorable Chikwinya?
The family, tentatively burial will be on Friday. Tentatively burial will be on.
Okay, can co-host
The police. I think I'll stop there for now. Perhaps entertain questions and I clarify other issues going forward.
Thank you very much. We were losing you a bit there, Honorable. There's quite a long list of people that have come on now. You know, it might be a while before we get to everybody, but I just wanted to say thank you. We also have DJ Vanaldo here. We have Chief Shoshe here. So if I can ask Mambo Shoshe to speak and to ask any questions, so you know we can release Honorable. I can already see him maybe having problems. So shall I come to you, Mambo Shoshe?
Thank you, host, and thank you, Honorable Chikwinya, for the detailed explanation. Let me say on behalf of the citizens of North America, Nematambudziko, to you as the Honorable Member of Parliament, where Mr. Boneni Ngube was based, and also Nematambudziko kuna President Wevanu, President Nelson Chamisa, nematambudziko kumhuri kwaNcube, nematambudziko kuvana vese zvizvarwa zvese zveZimbabwe, kunyanya vari muKwekwe. No, this is an unfortunate incident. We shouldn't be having citizens, people being terrorized, being murdered for their political orientation or for supporting a political party. This is unacceptable. We should not be having this in this day and age. And this is what we need to continue fighting for, so that we can have these freedoms, freedom of choice, freedom of association, and freedom to be wherever we want to be. It's unfortunate that we are losing people. We continue to lose people. Boneni is somebody's child. He's somebody's brother. He's somebody's father. He's somebody's friend. And now he's normal. He has left behind an 8-year-old child, a young wife, only because he belongs to the CCC. And it's very sad. I don't want to speak much. I think we will have to continue the discussion as we go. But I would want to hear from Honorable, how the family is taking all this, and how the diaspora can come in and help. I would want to think among the people that are here, the best way we can help, the best way we can support. Of course, as Africans, it's part of our culture, Ubuntu, that we pay Chema. It's not even a donation. Don't even see it as a donation. It's cultural for us to pay Chema. But we can go beyond that as citizens, as Zimbabweans, and extend a hand to this young child. He's only 8 years. Now he doesn't have a father. As you heard from Honorable, the mother died last year because of COVID-19. Can we not find someone who just say, I'm adopting this child? Can we not find an assembly, a province, a branch that will say, we are now taking care of this young man, so that at least he can have a life, he can have a chance. You know, it's difficult as it is to be in Zimbabwe, but it's even worse when you're in Zimbabwe and you're an 8-year-old, you don't have a father, you don't have a mother, and you are in a situation, like where most Zimbabweans are, desperate situations. The life is unattainable. This boy doesn't have a chance. So as we speak, as we come up, let's think about this young man, and of course, those who would want to assist, look at the spirit that Honorable just described, that people in Zimbabwe are chipping in with $10. This is RTGS 20, 30, 40. It doesn't look like it's a lot of money, but this is money that could give someone a meal. But people are sacrificing because they understand what the family is going through. Obviously, they can't afford to go through this family alone. And ourselves as an organization, as a party, this is where we show who we are. And of course, we know who we are. We are a party organization, that has solidarity as one of its pillars. An injury to one is an injury to all. We always come in as a triple C. We always come in as citizens when things like this or when something like this happens. And we always step in as Africans because it is our culture. Unoenda kunobata maoko when someone has passed away. And that's all we'll be trying to do. I don't know if there are any measures or anything that has been set up so that people could do that. But, I've just been hit right now with an idea that I will share with citizens here in North America so that we do something about, situations like this. We stand together. We stand with our owner, we stand with Ningwe's family, we stand with our president, we stand with our organization, and above all, we stand with this young man that, now is called in our Shona language. It will not be the last time that this young man eats a good meal, a proper meal, as our Shona idiom says, meaning that a child will eat that good meal, the day that people would have brought food during the funeral. Let it not be like that. Thank you very much, Honorable, and thank you, host, for giving me this time to extend my condolences to Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much there, Mambo Shoshe. Honorable has dropped off. I'm trying to bring him back on, but I think the important point that you made about Chema, there was a link that was posted up there. I can't seem to see the link, but what we can do is, can we ask people coming to speak to share their Chema, and then we'll try and see if we can bring that link back on. But now I was going to, I think most speakers have dropped off, but I will go in the order of how I think people came on. So it was Sabuku, Sika, I can't see the full name, and then Lord something, and then Tawanda. So if we can go in that order, please, if you can share Kubatama Oko, and then whether you have a question or whether you want to put Chema, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much, Patricia, host, and thank you very much, Barbara, host, co-host, and through my chief, my chairman, Chief Sose. To the family, the Ngube family who have lost a giant champion of the citizens. Kwekwe holds a very special place in my heart. My sister is the headmaster there in Mbizo in Kwekwe, and I've been speaking to her since Saturday about the Kwekwe rally, and then came to Kwekwe yesterday and everything. So I kind of belong to Kwekwe because I'm developing a property in Kwekwe, and it holds a special place in my heart. But what I heard was I wanted to talk to pose this to Honorable Chikwinya. Here in Ontario, Canada, we have a branch of CCC, but we also have a CCC social group, which is just a bunch of people who are sympathizers with CCC, but are not active members of CCC, but we are also in those groups as well. So this morning, they were touched by what happened in Kwekwe, and they came up with an idea that they were going to put money together, a chema, as Chief said, and I think they're coming up with quite a very reasonable sum. And they wanted to find a way how they can get the money. So now that after being here, I've seen there's a link that's been posted. So I want to see if Honorable wants us to send that money through the link or through some other means, as he might prefer, to get to the family to help with the funeral, because this is directly to help with the funeral on Friday. Then we have also a member who has donated some food items, but they are in Harare. So she wanted to know how to get the food to Kwekwe to help with the funeral. So it's some chickens and I think some maize and stuff. So I wanted a lead from the honorable member, if you could advise how he wants that how he wants us to go about that. If he can, he could inbox me and then we could work on it. But all I want is the direction how to send these items. Otherwise, it's not in a matter of Mbizo for the loss of life. And also I want to commend him for the way they handled this issue, because what is clear here is ZANU-PF is trying to set us up to play to their game and then blame us in the end. So I just urge us to remain focused and not take our eyes off the ball and not to fall into their trap. So we are a non-violent party. Yes, we can defend ourselves, but we are not going to start violence. And we're not even going to do anything outside the laws of our country. So I like the way they handled this, and I want to say thank you very much for doing that and not falling into their trap of wanting to turn things around and blame us. So kudos to you guys, and keep fighting. We'll support as much as we can. I'm going to donate on the link as well in my personal capacity on this stage right now. So I'm putting $25 right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Sabu.
Can I just jump in and respond to?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Sabuko. I know they don't call you Sabu for nothing. You're a community leader in Canada. So that group of maybe triple C members that want to donate something, and the person in Harare, I think that person in Harare, and together with the group, you could also go through our Secretary for Welfare, Maureen Kademaunga. I know she has already started approaching, external assemblies for help with funeral expenses. So I think I should be a good conductor for you because it becomes something that is registered and acknowledged by the party. Obviously, Leader Kademaunga, as diligent as she is always, she will take now whatever you have donated to the family through the Member of Parliament, Honorable Chikwinya. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief, for that. Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. He had actually come back and we lost him. So he came back on the platform and he dropped off. So I'm going to try and bring him back on again. Thank you. So shall we go to, was it Sika, the next, and then Lord Ku? If you could go ahead, please. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for joining this program. Yeah. I would like to sympathize with the family that lost Mboneni Ncube. Tinotine matambudziko ende kana nesu tarasikirwawo zvisingaite. Because we are a family, kana one of us adai kushaika nemuto wakadai. Really, it pains us a lot. Sizwa ubuhlungu kakhulu ngokulahlekelwa ngumfowethu. As it is, Kwekwe has been a place of violence. I'm a resident. I used to stay in Kwekwe. Kwekwe is full of violence, but if only the law in Zimbabwe was exercised equally, fairly, regardless of who has committed the crime, maybe this nature kind of violence, it could have been stopped or banned long back. But because the perpetrators of violence are the leaders of the country, the perpetrators of violence are those in power, you know, this thing will continue and continue and continue. You know, Kwekwe is it's not safe to stay because of the Makorokoza guys, the guys who walk around with machete. You know, in the past few years, there were people like Kutzezereka, they used to murder people and the like, but now they are dead. Then this group now is the most dangerous group. Cases of people being murdered in Kwekwe by these machete guys, they are there. But I just wonder that they are the same guys who murdered our fellow brother, meaning that the prior cases they did, they were given bails, like what somebody has just mentioned, and they walk out scot-free. You wonder how the Zimbabwean law works. You know, other people, they lose their jobs because they support the opposition party, but other people, they murder somebody, but they walk scot-free. You know, this kind of thing in Zimbabwe must stop and stop. That's why we are saying we have had enough of ZANU-PF and its leaders. We no longer want this. We want justice.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm really sorry to interrupt, but we've got Honorable Chikwinya back, and I know he wanted to leave early. Please, can you allow me to allow him to speak so that he can wrap up and finish? And we'll come back to you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. My apologies. Literally, Chief Sose, I didn't hear anything from you. I'm juggling between WhatsApp because they are a huge new development that is happening. So I'm juggling between WhatsApp and the Twitter space. So I think the gadget is failing me. But at least let me just say this, perhaps, and then I'll try and concentrate on what's happening. So let me just address what's happening right now. So we are busy working with the family to say we are arranging for the funeral and everything. The information that popped into my account, into my WhatsApp right now, is that ZANU-PF is claiming the body as I speak to say it's our body killed at a CCC rally. We want to go away with it exactly the same way that happened to Gift Chandara. And this I can foresee it panning out if we don't stop it now. And if we actually don't go on the ground right now and discuss with the family that there are people who want to claim the body, who are going to force you to go and bury the body, because they know that this incident has attracted so much attention nationally and internationally. They want to have they don't want to have any other publicity anymore. Exactly what happened with the Gift Tandari, that they coerced the family to collect the body, buried him in Mount Darwin. And I'm foreseeing it happening now, because the person who told me is saying they are here at Kwekwe General Hospital. They are saying this is our body, we want to collect it. So these are the challenges that we are facing, and this is why I was saying, guys, I think I need to then let me concentrate on what is happening and perhaps deal with these realities that we have so far. I know you are capable of proceeding, sharing your experiences that I had the last speaker share of. If you were to come into contact with me, I have a 7-inch scar perpetrated by Kudzezereka. So you are quite correct that this city has been of organized violence since 2000. People who are organized and working in these gangs. But allow me, colleagues, to deal with this issue which has just come up now, unless if I can answer to, if I can respond to one or two questions before I actually drive back to the family right now.
Thank you. Mbizo and Leader Babs, do you want to go ahead? Okay, we seem to have lost Mambo Shoshe. Leader Babs, did you want to say anything so we can release Honorable Chikwinya to the agent matter?
Okay, thanks, Pet. I don't have much to say except to thank Honorable for letting us know what exactly is happening in Kwekwe.
Okay, thank you. And I think,
and you know, it's like they're talking about some town that is outside Zimbabwe. You can't even imagine it's happening in Zimbabwe, and it's quiet. No action is being taken, and people still want them to cling on to power whilst they are busy harassing and victimizing people, the citizens, the people that they claim to be voting for them. They come back during the 5 years, they'll be harassing them. And then when the time for election comes, they want to beg for their elections, for their votes. And I'm saying to the Zimbabweans and each one of us who are here, it is our responsibility to teach, or maybe to tell our relatives that it's time. The time is now. We can't have a country that is ruled, or we are being ruled. You are not being led. I can't say lead because it's not leadership. It's being ruled by a mafia. You know, Mnangagwa is a mafia. This is mafia, you know, mafia style. I'm even failing to contend exactly how Honorable is living in such a country. You know, you are such a brave person, Honorable, and I would want to salute you. You know, you're going through a lot and you standing by the people. And I wish you all the best. And I know the people are going to decide on the 26th of March. You were recalled for standing for the people, and you'll go back for standing for the people. All the best, my comrade, Honorable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we really need to let him go.
Just a quick question. Honorable, I don't know if we can have more details. Maybe we can do this, WhatsApp, so that we get more details about this young man, the 8-year-old, where he's going to school, maybe what his needs are going forward. I think this is someone that we all need to set up something for. Thank you.
No.
Yes, I was going to say, let's follow up with him after this, so we release him to go, if that's okay. But I think he wanted to speak.
It's okay, guys. I think let me just rush over to this. You see, my last Twitter space again, I think this was the one on Thursday. As we were actually hosting it like this, that is when we had the incident where we had Tapua Mgano and the police assaulting the police. And it's unfortunate that during this time we expect this to go on. I think maybe until the burial is done. We were at least expecting that they can go and collect and attempt to collect a body of an individual who was killed at a CCC rally, but they want to claim as if he was a ZANU-PF person killed by CCC people. This can actually even go further. You can easily begin to have members of CCC being picked up by police that they are suspects in the murder of one of their own. And I see this story developing into a huge mess for us, but we'll handle it as it comes. As of now, let me just go and alert the family that there are people who are claiming that the body belongs to ZANU-PF.
Thank you very much. God bless you. And we wish you well. Thank you.
Ndibvumirewo kuti wasati waenda comrade Chikwinya MP wedu ndingonamata wasati waenda zvinoita here.
Please, can you pray? If you can do it quickly, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Tiri pamatambudziko, tine urombo MP Chikwinya nezvaitika. Hatina simba, asi tinokumbira simba rinobva kumusoro kudenga kuna Mwari, nokuti Mwari ndiwe munhu wese, havasarudze zvirema, vanotadza, vasingavadi, mhondi, zvese vanongoda zvakadaro. Asi tiri kuti nhasi uno simba raMwari ribate riri pamberi penyu, musimbiswe. Tinoziva kuti muri kumhanyisana nezvakawanda, asi Mwari tinokumbira kuti wakutungamirirei, wakuitirei zvakanaka nokuti vari kutoda imimi zvekare yanumber one target sezvamuri candidate, asi Mwari wachabata sekukumbira kwatinenge taita. Mukaona vana Mnangagwa vanowirana neChina, it's not a country, vanowirana neRussia. Look at the mess iri kuitika muUkraine. Wowirana nenyika yakadaro, saka part and parcel yeideology yakadaro. Saka hazina kusiyana, but tine mhondi mukati menyika dzatadzisa vanhu rufaro, dzapa vanhu nzara. Regai ndinamate muzita raIbaba nereMurumbwana neremweya unoyera. Baba wedu mangwanani ano, vamwe amanheru vamwe masikati, zvakanaka kudaro. Ndimi makazvisika mumufananidzo wenyu. Tinomutendai Mwari nenguva yakanaka kudai yatiri kukurukura, yatiri kubatana maoko nekungochema nevari kuchema. Tinoziziva kuti Mwari mweya mutsvene mukubata kunoshamisa. Unouya kwamuri Mwari, unouya kwatiri. Imi motumira nhumwe dzenyu, vana wenyu vozwa kudzikama, vana wenyu wotanga rwendo rwatakatanga seCCC Mwari, tichienderera mberi. Baba, ndiri kunamata nemhuri yarasikirwa nemwanakomana muzita raJesu. Haleluya. Kudzwai changamire, wasimbisei, bvisai misodzi, wanzwe kusimba kusakamboitika mukati meupenyu hwavo, nokuti mafiro acho chete anotaura zvimwe zvinhu zvakanaka zviri mberi. Hatifarire kudeuka kweropa kuti kuzowane zviro zvakanaka, asi Mwari kana zvaitika izvi tinozvitarisa toona kuti kumberi kwedu uku wachasara wachigara zvakanaka. Baba, tinotenda kuti muri iyoyo yagashira zvese zvakaitika. Tinotenda Mwari muri pakati pavo, kudzimara rufu rupere wige hama yavo mune zvakanaka. Mweya ndewenyu Mwari, mweya ndewenyu changamire. Nevakukiremawo kuti bhodhi ndeyedu Mwari, toda kuti kutaura kwose kuchaitika chokwadi chibude muzita raJesu. Tungamirai Mwari, nesu vanhu tiri kuno kudiaspora Mambo Jesu, tirangarirei changamire, nokuti tiri pahumwe ubuntu takabatana Mambo Jesu. Mazita Mwari, President wedu hatiwakangani, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Mwana wenyu Mwari ari kusikana manzwa presa yaaita nhasi uno kuda kuti mwoyo wake uri kurwadzikana, asi tiri kuti muzita raJesu muriko Mwari, kumutungamirira, kumupa simba, kumupa njere, kumupa maziso anoona zvemweya. Haleluya. Nemagurukota ake ese Mambo Jesu, pasina anotengesa, hatichada anotengesa Mambo Jesu. Zvakwana. Imi midenga kana mabvuma zvatiri kutaura izvi, hakuna zvichaitika. Zvakanaka chete ndo zvichaitika. Mazita Mwari, tungamira wese wari paplatform ino Mambo Jesu, nemazwi ekuchema, nemazwi ekupa, kuti wabatsire rufu irwo rwuenderere mberi mune zvakanaka. Mazita ndinomutendai nenguva yakanaka kudai muzita raBaba nereMurumbwana neremweya unoyera. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Totenda zvikuru. Sister Sika, please ndisireo. Can you mute us, please? Thank you so much, Brother Soko. And Sister Sika, if you can mute yourself. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go to DJ Vanaldo. DJ Vanaldo is a Change Radio DJ, and he was also an eyewitness as to what happened. And we just wanted him to share his experiences. He's been waiting a long time, and then we'll come back to the speakers. Thank you. DJ Vanaldo, can you go ahead? Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
We can hear you. Okay, looks like he's having challenges. Shall we come back to you, Sister Sika, if he's having challenges? say anything? Host Washington, did you want to say anything on Mambo Shoshe? Because it looks like the others are struggling with their mics.
Thank you, my leader. I think we want to thank our Honorable Chikwinya there for keeping us posted on what's happening on the ground. I think it's very, very important that we send him with a message that we are here in solidarity, we are here in spirit, and we will do our level best to make sure that the challenges that are being faced right now will be made easier by the contributions that we are going to be making. I'm not too sure if I'm audible. My network is playing up really badly.
Yes, you are. You're very loud and clear. Very clear.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, on this platform, we have a challenge. Tina link iri pamusoro apa yekuti vanokwanisa kubvisa chema. Let's pay our chema so that things will be easier for our brother to be buried in Zimbabwe. His age is not a brother to me, he's a son. So it is so painful for a father to bury a son, leaving a small young child. So we need to make sure as a party as well, CCC, we also focus on families that are troubled, families that are bereaved. We've got women, a lot of women have lost their husbands, and husbands have also lost their wives. So we need to come up with a solution to support situations like this, because it's within our supporting situations like this that will make us different, and that will make people continue to want to
Hi, are you cutting off?
Perhaps it's cutting off now. Maybe I'll help back the mic.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I think for all those that are able to give Chema, please do use the link at the top. We really appreciate that. You've heard when the Honorable was talking about the funeral costs, but all the other associated financial needs for our cadres that were injured. But there's also a child, an 8-year-old child, that is going to need ongoing support. So that's something that we can continue to discuss, and we said we'll take it offline to see how we can support that child. Before I come back to Mambo Shoshe, shall I try Sol? Do you want to come off mute and speak? Please try Sol. Okay, try so it's dropped off. Shall we go back to DJ Vanaldo? If you can speak, I can see you've taken your mic. You can speak, please. Okay, he seems to be struggling. So I'm coming back to you, Sika, if you can go ahead. Okay, it looks like Sika can't speak either. So I'll come to you, Mambo Shoshe, if you can unmute.
Okay, thank you. Follow up on, I think it was our sister Sika who was speaking earlier on, and she was talking about the police, the impartiality of the police in Kwekwe. That are all these gangs that are Honorable Chikwinya, was talking about Al Shabaab and many others. They should be, all the members of those groups should be behind bars. But obviously, obviously because of fear of Muda or Ngube, they are out and roaming about and continue to perpetrate violence. But there's also something that came up yesterday that I discovered on internet. One of the police officers, senior police officers, is Superintendent One Memory Kaniriri. She's she's a well-known person in both Kwekwe, because I think she commands both, Gweru and Kwekwe, or part of Midlands. She showed up at the ZANU-PF rally with full ZANU-PF regalia. I have the picture, and I think I'm going to post it on Twitter. She's a superintendent. She's supposed to be impartial. She's supposed to be apolitical. But she shows up at a ZANU-PF rally with full ZANU-PF regalia. So honestly, what do you expect from a person like that? What do you expect from an unprofessional police officer like that? Is he ever going to, follow the dictates of the Constitution and arrest people that are supposed to be arrested? Especially if those people have attacked or perpetrated violence against CCC on behalf of ZANU-PF, on behalf of the people that police officer is supporting, on behalf of his bosses or her bosses. So this is what we are seeing, that you see an army officer, you see a police officer. We're not saying all the police officers or the whole army is rotten. No, it's not. It's just a few individuals or a number of individuals that cannot execute their duties freely and fairly because of their affiliation to ZANU-PF. And it's very unfortunate that we are where we are, in terms of our security forces. And this is the reason why, as CCC, we continue to demand. It's actually one of our major demands, in the electoral reform, that the security sector need to be reformed. We cannot have security officers, security bosses meddling in politics, or taking sides, either ZANU-PF or CCC. They are not supposed to be. They are supposed to be servants of the people. They are supposed to serve all the people. And I hope we're going to see justice being done in Kwekwe, or in the Kwekwe murder, or in the murder of Mboneni Ncube. We need to see people going to jail. These are issues that people can take to the streets about. Someone was even talking to me yesterday, saying, Chief, why are you not writing letters to the United Nations and so forth and so forth? And we used to do that a lot. We used to be very good at that. UK used to be very good at that. And I think this is the time we need to activate, ways of action like that we make the world know, one person is one person too many for us to continue losing. Let's not say it's one person, because it's one person in Kwekwe, it's going to be another one in Mulawa, it's going to be another one in Gweru. If we do not take action, if we do not do something about it, if we do not notify the world, if we do not go on top of the mountain and scream that people are being murdered for their political, affiliation in Zimbabwe, then it will continue to happen, because ZANU-PF will be saying we did it in Kwekwe and they didn't do anything about it. So we need to make as much noise as we can. And as we are here in the diaspora, the best thing that we can do is to let the world know that the person that they are calling a Democrat, Emmerson Mnangagwa, is nowhere near that way. He cannot qualify to even be, whining and dining with the other Democrats in the world, or the true Democrats in the world. So we need to do something about this. If we have to have demonstrations, if people were allowed, people would be demonstrating right now in Kwekwe. Because, I mean, how absurd is it that you kill somebody and then you're going on to claim the vote of that person, so that you go ahead and start doing the very same things that I'm urging all of us to do. Because what ZANU-PF is trying to do here is very clear. They want to turn around and start blaming CCC, because there was this absurd report that came from this idiot. No, sorry, I was about to say idiot. President Chamisa said we should move away from politics of insults. So I don't want to insult him, but this guy called Gambakwe, I mean, he is insane. That's not insulting. He is really insane. He was writing in one of his blogs or wherever he writes, saying this is intra-party politics or intra-party fights. That's what ZANU-PF is trying to do, obviously using people like the Gambakwe, so that the world and the people, the neutral, some who are far away from politics, would believe that this was, an intra-party or an intra-Triple C conflict. And that also speaks to the reason why they store or they bought our T-shirts, so that when it is put out there, we know when a picture is put out there, people from in yellow fighting each other, and then eventually one of them getting killed. They can easily label Triple C. They can easily sell that kind of cheap propaganda. It's called cheap propaganda for a reason, because once you put it out there, people can easily believe it. Because here, all of us here, we are knowledgeable to the situation. We understand the dynamics. We know what is going on. But there are Zimbabweans who are far removed from our politics. They don't even know, they don't even understand what is going on in the country. And they will swallow that kind of propaganda, hook, line, and sinker. So we shouldn't be beaten to something like that by ZANU-PF. We should be screaming. We should be talking about this. We should be writing letters about this. We should be demonstrating about issues like this, so that the world should know ZANU-PF for what it really is. Thank you.
So thank you so much for that, Mambo Shoshe. And you talk about that propaganda. We know that the regime has this unbridled lust for blood. They like to spill blood, and we have seen it over the last 42 years that they have been ruling over us. So we've never had a leadership, we've never had a government. We just never knew about it. So for some of us who are much older than a lot of those that were born in the 80s, when it all started, we thought, oh, here we go, we've got our government, we're going to have a progressive, prosperous country. We will all do well. But it started with Gukra Hundi. They got away with it. And then over the years, we've seen how that has just panned out. And today, when President Chamisa was speaking, he talked about 2018. So if you remember back to 2018, during those peaceful protests, when the regime was reluctant to announce the results because they knew they'd lost the presidential result, the army went out on the street and murdered people in cold blood. Six innocent citizens that were going about their business were murdered. And then we saw in 2019, between the 12th to the 24th of January, during the peaceful fuel protests, we saw how people were murdered. And there was just so much bloodshed. And we know that about 50 women were raped. So these are women that came forward to say that they were raped, but there were many that we know were raped. And then, in October, there was the young man that died in a police cell. And that was really tragic. And up to today, yesterday, it's just blood. So this is who the regime are. They have to spill blood. And when I saw Nick Mangwana's propaganda tweet this morning around the fact that it was intra-party violence was just totally unacceptable. And what we need to see is we need to see the whole world, the international community, call out this behavior. It must stop. We mustn't put up with political violence. We must do all that we can to make sure that the world knows about it. So for some of us that live in the diaspora, we are not on the ground. And so this is how we bring it to the whole world. We come to these spaces, we tweet about it, we write letters, and we need to do more. As Mambo Shoshe said, that we need to do more around writing letters, alerting embassies, alerting those that are friends to Zimbabwe. And I'm really glad that we've got some friends here within the British aristocracy and some MPs that really speak up on behalf of Zimbabwe. And, for those on the ground, they do what they can, and we do what we can through fundraising, through raising funds. So these are some of the things that we do to help on the ground. And for tonight, especially, it's Chema, so that our hero can be buried with dignity and with respect. And also the challenges that Honorable Chikwinya spoke about, that the regime are already trying to claim that body, and we can't have that happen. And the way we can help is by feeding in money and by alerting the world so that they don't do it. So I'll pause there for a minute and go to Lord Commander, because I know you'd come in and gone out and you were waiting for a while. So over to you, Lord Commander.
Okay, thank you. Nematambudziko, condolences to the family. I've got two things to address here. The first is about the publicity of what we've heard now with by Comrade Honorable Chikwinya. This information, it's breaking news. We should be in the forefront of spreading this news. Even if we don't have full information, you can claim to say we still get information, but let the word go out there that ZANU-PF are trying to claim this body. Just imagine all of us, if you say the same information now, you never know who is going to hear, who is going to get our attention about this issue. And then as the information get confirmed, but the world will have known. But now as it is, Honorable Chikwinya have just told us, and if we just sit on the story, it's not going to go our way very far. Then that's not the way information should be spread out. Secondly, I want to address the issue of the police commissioner or the commanding officer of Kwekwe or in Midlands. Honorable Chikwinya seems to have direct contact with this person, which happened to be a she. I would want a situation where Honorable Chikwinya would not go around letting people know that she is getting information from these people. This is a very important intel. He would know that he's getting information, but to tell them that I told the she and the she told him.
Hello, are we losing Lord Commander?
Moment from the look of things, it looks like there is another intra situation happening in ZANU-PF. They are fighting among themselves. This group that have been arrested is aligned to Owen Muta. So we in the event that another group which is aligned to the people that are favorable, I think there's a bit of noise. I'll leave it now for if somebody wants to get in. Looks like somebody is here. Their mic open, so they're making noise. I can't continue with this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So there's no one with an open mic. It's just yourself that was speaking. There's no one else with an open mic. But I'll go to Sister Sika, if you can speak, if you're able to. I don't know if you can unmute yourself. If not, shall we try you again, Lord Commander? It could be your background. Let's try you again. If you unmute and speak again, please.
Yeah, I was addressing the situation about the camps in ZANU-PF in Kwekwe at the moment. The way the arrests have happened shows there's something at play. The detail of the investigation and the swiftness of the arrests. There's a lot of things that makes us raise our eyebrows to say, how does this happen so quickly and already prescribing everything to ZANU-PF? Is this real or is just something that is at play? Or a camp in ZANU-PF, they are trying to fix Muda, but as we have been told, there are more groups in Kwekwe, there are more gangs in Kwekwe. So this gang is just being brought to book to give way for other groups to reign supreme in Kwekwe. So if the other group did the same thing and they are aligned to the favorable group, they might not be arrested. But if Honorable Chikwinya has already said the commander have told him to say they've arrested these guys, so in the next thing they will know the commander is giving information to Chikwinya. So we need to be very careful on what we say about our sources. She might not be sincere because she might be aligned to another camp, but for now, let's protect her. Though I understand Chief Shoshe got misgiving about her to say maybe she had been downing ZANU-PF regalia, which could be the case. So, I mean, there's a lot of things at play there. But overall, I want the information that have been shared by Honorable Chikwinya to be spread far and wide. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I think we are coming to the end of our space. Some of the speakers that were meant to speak have dropped off. Sister Sika doesn't seem that she's able to pick up the mic. So I am just going to go back to Mambo Shoshe to give us his last closing remarks, but also a reminder that Chema is open. So for those that would like to give their Chema, please feel free to do so using the link. If you are unable to use the link, please DM us and we will let you have other means, other options by which you can give your Chema, because we are conscious that not everybody can donate via the link. So DM us and we will talk to you about other ways to give your Chema. So shall I come to Mambo Shoshe and then I will finish up with host Washington.
I have nothing much, Patricia, except to just urge the citizens here that let's do our cultural and traditional role. Let's do something about the situation in Kwekwe. It's not, like I said earlier, it's not a donation. It's, expressing your condolences. And that's what we do. It's part of us. It's part of our culture. We do it everywhere. You see the grandmothers, the grandfathers, and Ambuya and Asekuru, they will use the last cent that they have because they know the importance and the cultural, attachment there is that when someone passes on, you go to the family and you extend your condolences. Wobata maoko, wobvisa chema yako, wobvisa misodzi yako. It's what we do as Africans. So I'm just urging everyone here to do something wherever you are. It can be within your assembly or simply to just jump on the link that has been provided. I'm going to do the same thing before I drop. I'll go on and put in my Chema. And beyond that, let's also think about the 8-year-old child. Let's make it a point. It's a strong message that we send even to ZANU-PF, that when one of us is in times of trouble like this, we all gather together in solidarity. We do something. We do not let them, wallow in their problems without the party intervening, without the citizens intervening. Let's show ZANU-PF that we stand with our own. And when we do that, it strengthens the resolve in other people, in other comrades. They will know that if something happens to them, their children are not going to be abandoned. They're not going to, be left, not going to school or not being provided for. it motivates, you know, the people that are on the ground, those that are in the trenches. But if they know that when they are arrested, nobody visits them, nobody gives them any care, or nobody takes care of their families, or if someone worse, you know, passes away, their children are forgotten immediately when they've died. You know, we shouldn't give that picture that we do not care. So it begins right now. It begins with you, because that's not a responsibility for President Chamisa or the leadership of the party. It's a responsibility for all of us. We know that this is now our thing as citizens. It's now a citizens thing. So you can't then now shift that responsibility to the party or to the leadership of the party. It's our baby, it's our citizens movement. So if someone is in trouble, let's rally behind them. Let's do something about this situation. Thank you, and thank you, host, for organizing this discussion. You know, we need to talk more. We need to highlight these issues that are going on in Zimbabwe. Like we said, if we have to write letters to embassies, if we have to do demonstrations, this is one thing that we need to, you know, do such things for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mbizo, and for really highlighting the need for supporting during this difficult time. Thank you. Over to co-host Washington.
Thank you, host. Thank you, Mbizo there, and thank you to all the speakers that spoke on this platform. Thank you all out there. It's a test that we have of the ZANU-PF regime wanting to see how we react. So how we should react is by coming together and make sure we make a difference in one of us, in our son who we have lost, in his family. The words that our Honorable Chikwinya mentioned, that these people are trying to claim the body. This is a sign of desperation. And we need to make sure this is stopped. And we need to make sure we amplify this so that they know that we know their tricks. And when that is out there, it's difficult for them to do anything. And I know they will go to the family and threaten the family to say, yes, say you are this, say you are this, say you are that. So this is time where we really need to support and make sure they are secured. And the security comes from us here. The link is going to be there for the next 30 days when the recording is there. But I think that they need help now. So if those of us who can help, please, let's do it. I think we heard, was it Mbizo was talking about what our parents used to do. I remember when I was growing up, the cells in church where my mother used to go to church where we grew up in, if any of the members dies, the ladies will take a dish and they go and collect mini meals, and they'll go and collect all the other things, and each one is got a record of how much they are donating every time somebody dies. And I'm now starting to understand why they used to do these things, because some people never used to want to contribute, but when they then get into the same situation, they would need help. So I think that we need to refocus and say to ourselves, that person who has died could be your brother, could be your son, could be your cousin. Now, if that is your cousin, what would you do? So let's remove the issue of the CCC. Let's take it personal to say, that is my brother, that's my son who has died. I'm going to do my best to make sure that he has a decent burial. And those are things that we need, because they will also help to get people cultivated, knowing that if anything ever happens to me, I know my family is going to be taken care of. I know whoever is going to be left behind is going to be taken care of. And it all bundles down to resources. So thank you, our host, for such an amazing space where people share. This is not a joy, but this is sorrow. But we need to come together and be strong and for this family and ourselves, because remember, we are not protecting Mr. Ncube here who has died. It's us who remains here. He's run his tour. Basa ita apedza. Now it's you and me. So the challenge is left with us. And thank you again, co-host, and thank you for those that are here. If we could retweet as well, if we can, because retweeting, someone could see the space and be able to go on the link and then be able to do a donation. So thank you again, and have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you again. Back to you,
Thank
host.
you. Thank you so much for that, co-host Washington and Mbizo Constituency. So as we close, I just wanted to go back to the point I made earlier about the fact that the regime has this unbridled lust for blood, and that we all have a role to play to amplify the messages of abuse, of gross human rights violations. And we have SADC, which should really be taking a stance on the political violence in Zimbabwe, but they never do that. And we know that our own people, our fellow citizens in Zimbabwe, have lost faith in the institutions in Zimbabwe that are meant to protect. We have courts that are captured, the police are captured, the army are captured. There's a rulership. And so therefore, the moral validity of SADC should be to stand on the side of the masses, first and foremost, but they have chosen to be a captured arm of dictatorships around the region and also in Africa. So it then leaves us to stand in the gap and to be able to be the individuals that fight on behalf of other citizens that are unable to speak for themselves, but also to be there to support them when they stand in the gap, like what we saw yesterday with Mboneni Ncube. He was standing in the gap at a rally at which some of us couldn't be, representing us and being very brave. And today we are in mourning because he lost his life, because the regime saw it fit to take it, to snatch it away. So I'm going to end here and just end with the words that Change Radio conveys their deepest condolences to the Ncube family, and we are praying for them during this very difficult time. We are open to receiving Chema. Use the link, DM us for other options to support. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Thank you to all of our speakers, Honorable Chikwinya, Leader Barbara, Mbizo Constituency, co-host Washington, and all of the other speakers whose names I probably can't remember now. But thank you so much. And God bless you all. Good night, good day, good morning. Bye-bye.